What's up, everyone? It is your girl, GELBEAUTY 87 here, aka Great. And it's time for another Palettes That Inspire Me video. So today's Palettes That Inspire Me video is one of the influencers I first found when I came to YouTube that looked like me. I had found Tina the Fancy Face, but then I went to go look for another creator that was closer to my skin tone, because we all know Tina the Fancy Face is closer to Taraji P. Henson shade, and I needed somebody who could actually match me with foundation shades. So I prayed to God about finding somebody who looked like me to find foundation shades and learn techniques and things like that from. And literally, who else popped up but Auntie Jackie? So of course y'all know I had to pull out my ABH Jackie Aina palette, even though I don't really shop from ABH anymore after I told you all about it in one of my decluttered my palette collection videos a while ago. Why I don't mess with the brands. If you're curious, you can go watch one of those. I don't remember which one it is, and I got like 5 because that's how much eyeshadow I have to choose from. But this palette definitely inspires me, and I was so excited that Jackie got to create it, because the formula in this ABH palette is better than any other ABH palette you will ever try. I said what I said. I will down and he'll fight me if you want. And plus, she came up with all the colors that I genuinely like in the palette. Like, I like this little I love blue, green, or blue brown pigment shade. So I was here for this shade right here, and all you got to think, all the tones in this ABH palette actually work for my skin though. Now, I mean, I know there were people out there saying that, you know, like it was too deep for their skin tone and all that, but it's like I heard plenty of creators who were the same color as those people saying they just used a light hand. So it's like, you could have just did that instead of trying to rain on Jackie's moment. But, you know, do you or whatever. Back to this palette. This palette is stunning. It's wonderful. As you can see, mine is quite dirty and disgusting. Look at this. Look how gross this looks. But that just shows she's well loved. When she looks like this, she's well loved. I actually have a backup of this palette just for the memory. So, because I knew I was going to use this one, it was going to look disgusting. And mine does look pretty disgusting. Consider how many palettes I have. This is one of my most dirty palettes in my collection, because that's how much it has been loved. So, needless to say, I had to do a look with this one. Now, if you did not get this palette, Pat McGrath's Celestial Divinity, the first Mothership Mega palette she came out with, is really similar to this color story. So if you can get this one, or you can get that palette there, or similar in color story, not in formula in color story, but Jackie did her thing with this formula, so I had to definitely put it in here, because this is definitely a palette that inspires me. So let me zoom in real quick and cute like. Now, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this palette, because there's so many wonderful things to choose from. Like, you got this gorgeous shade Wigglies. Like, I don't know what to I don't know what I want to use. I don't know if I want to use Sponsored. I don't know if I want to use, you know, like Big Wig right here. I really love so many shades in his who are we kidding? I love all the shades in here, even like the everyday, like boring shades that Jackie likes to use. I love those too. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with a palette for once, because it's like, it's just so amazing and wonderful. I have no idea. But if you're curious what's on my eyes right now, before I go away and do whatever it is I'm going to do, this is the Glamlite X Michaela palette. This is the 10 pan palette that's similar to the Smoke Sessions. I told y'all it would be a good alternative for Smoke Sessions. It has more everyday, like brown tones in it for you to be able to wear to work, and then you can put the greens on later on in the night when you want to jazz up the look. So if you're more into that style of makeup, then you probably want the Michaela X Glam Light over the Smoke Sessions palette. Don't get me wrong, I love my makeup palette and I love my Smoke Sessions palette, but we all know I'm more for colorful makeup. So I was trying to give alternatives to people who don't necessarily love colorful makeup but like to dabble in it every now and again. That palette would be better for you than Smoke Sessions. Anyway, I'm gonna go off camera and get my life in order, figure out what I'm gonna do with Jackie's palette. I will come back and have swatches all over my arm showing you which shade I use for the eyes, and then we'll get into the eye look. So I'll be right back. Okay, girl? Okay, y'all. So we have put on Pinker completely. So we have put on Supreme completely. Now we're gonna go into Pinker. So I just put it toward the back and the front, of course, because that's what you do at Halo. I actually didn't do my traditional winged out look either. I just kind of kept it more rounded, if you will, because y'all know it's not me either. And with a couple of these older palettes, you might feel like the pigmentation is the same, but you know, you gotta think how long ago Jackie came out with this palette. I think about 2-3 years ago, and the fact that it's still performing pretty well. Like, I feel like the pink is performing pretty nicely. The darker shade, I feel like it isn't doing as well as I remember it doing, but again, this palette is old, so I'm just, you know, happy it's doing anything at all, because it's a love of mine. And when it truly stops performing at all, I'm gonna be sad. But I have a fresh one from Makeup History, and I'll just throw it as old one, just so I can memorialize the new pretty one. So yeah. Excuse me. So let's get I'm just putting a little bit more of Supreme back into the crease. Funny thing is, Jackie said she didn't want the shade Supreme in the palette. She wasn't sure, and then she told me how she loved it. I'm like, I like it too. I feel like this would be a nice, good, soft moment if you like to do matte eye looks. I feel like if you put this one on the outer V and put Supreme all over the lid, I feel like that would be nice. And then a nice little wigglies in the inner corner instead to give it like a different vibe to the look. I feel like that'd be cool too. So I'm just over here like, yeah. But y'all, this is like my fourth eye look of the night. It's third or fourth. I want to say it's fourth, but it could be third. No, wait, yeah, it is third because I did Patrick Ta, Designate Friendcation. We're doing this, and I'm gonna try to do one more before I go to bed because I have so many eye looks to do. I'm hoping my Wootens Eyes palette shows up tomorrow, all 3 of them, so I can do those tomorrow night. So I keep the new content coming for y'all, cause I'm trying to. So I'll be taking the shade Wigglies. That's the name of this red shade. I love that name. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's a stunning like red shade. I just love the color service this palette overall. I feel like this does a wonderful job for anyone who has any sort of melanin. It's like you got all the pretty much bases covered, because y'all know I love a purple moment, so it has the purple moment in it. And you can do a cute little pink along with the purple moment. You can do a nice little neutral moment, or you can just play all around the palette. I'm just taking the pinker shade and going on the outer sides to kind of like blend it in a little bit better, y'all know. And then we're gonna go back in with the shade Supreme again to get it looking the way I want it. Because I want a little more brightness from pinker in the crease, and right now it's not giving. But again, since the palette's super old, I'm just glad it's working at all. Doing the other side too, because why not? It's here, we're here, everybody's here, and I gotta do eye looks. I mean, I gotta do a picture of this when we get done, so I figure refreshing that side a little bit too, so that way when it's time to take the picture, I don't have to try to come and refresh it. It'll already be refreshed. Pretty good. Now we're gonna go into the shade Soleil, and that's the shade I put in the inner corner. I was gonna put Trust Issues, but it had a lot of purple fall into it, and I didn't necessarily want that vibe going on, so I was like, I'll just do this peachy gold type shade Jackie likes. That's supposed to, I think she said that shade was supposed to be similar to La Peach. God, I know she did with Arts too. Don't quote me though, but because this video came out years ago, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm correct or not. That's over again real quick. Back you on up. I'll do my eyeliner off camera save time. But yes, girl. I can tell you the name of the eyeliner that was my bed. Where is it? It's called. I got a 2 or 3 sitting out for the eye looks I know I'm going to do later. So it's called Noonan Song. I believe that's how you say it. It's Noon IANSOONG. So that's why I say Noonan Song. I'm assuming that's how you properly say it. Don't quote me, no girl, but like this is the final look with me being inspired by the Jackie Aina X ABH palette. I could have came with 3 different looks with this palette, to be perfectly honest, because we have 3 different sections to choose from. Like that had a cute moment with these shades, and then I could have did a nice little purple moment, and I could have came through and gave y'all a neutral everyday moment just because this palette inspires me so much. But I just had to just stick with the reds today because, like I said, I feel like, excuse me, that's what I used the least in the palette, so I was excited to use those in particular. So that's how this palette inspired me today. I hope I've inspired you to pull out this palette. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.